I never used to talk about poo because I'm a lady. But once I got into natural health, I realized that poo is really a diagnostic tool. Have you ever wondered what the frequency or the texture or the color of your poo actually means? There is a reason for everything. Imagine if you could look into the toilet bowl every day and feel confident that your health is in good working order. So are you constantly irregular? Do you have rabbit pellets one day and an anaconda snake the next? Is some days it's yellow, sometimes it's green, sometimes it's white? I hope not. But there is empowerment in understanding your poo and knowing how it affects your health. So I want to talk to you today about your poo and how you can gain confidence just by looking in the toilet bowl. So come along with me. Actually, I'm inviting you to my art show, so let's go.
It's the art show about poo. Look.
What better way to teach you about your poo than to show you the beautiful paintings I have done about each different category of poo, so you can match what you experience at home to what I have painted in the gallery. My first piece is called Starry Night, Constipated Light. In this piece, I have taken great care to paint little pellets and balls. They almost look 3D-like. That's how good of a painter I am. My second art piece is called Girl with a Pearl Lumpy Sausage. This piece emphasizes lumpy pieces that are still pretty dry. I took great pain to make sure that the colors were just about right for this one. Now, if either of these two paintings resonate with you, if you see yourself in either of these paintings, these types of poos indicate constipation. Yes, you do not have enough hydration in your body to create an optimal poo, and the waste matter in your colon is sitting there for just too long. For help with this, I've created two different videos. One is called Constipation Matters, that educates you about constipation, and the other is called 15 Home Remedies for Constipation. Yes, you do not have enough hydration in your body to create an optimal poo. That is what these paintings exhibit. Let's move on to art pieces 3 and 4. Art piece number 3 is called The Birth of Feces. This painting is so beautiful and so optimal. Look at how the sausage is just beautifully shaped. It's amazing how I was able to capture all of the angles, and the light hits it just perfectly, doesn't it? Art piece number 4 is called The Screaming Snake. Yes, doesn't it look just like a snake? It's so spot on the way I was able to get the colors and the lighting and the shading. It's just perfect. When you see either of these art pieces in the toilet, you can be proud that you have made the perfect bowel movement. In fact, the perfect bowel movement is medium to dark brown in color. It has a smooth consistency. It should come out very easily and then break apart when landing in the toilet. And it should have very little to no smell. All of these characteristics indicate that you are passing through your food in an optimal transit time from the time you eat it to the time you release it. This also means that the food is not sitting in the colon for too long or passing through too fast. So you're able to extract the necessary nutrients from what you need. Additionally, you're probably having at least 1 to 3 of these bowel movements a day. Now, as a subscriber, not only do you get unlimited access to the gallery of poo, which I know you want, but you're also more than likely some of the brightest and smartest and best looking of the bunch. So join us today, become a subscriber, and thank you for visiting my art gallery. Now let's move on to art pieces number 5, 6, and 7. Art piece number 5 is called Sausage McMuffin with Egg. Look at those blobs and how they're so perfectly shaped. And art piece number 6 is Abstract in Brown. I appreciate how this one is so loose. I was able to capture the runniness of it all. Art piece number 7 is one of the most famous in the world, the Mona Lisa. In fact, this one is so famous, I believe they have it up in the Louvre in Paris, France. So if you want to go see it, you should go visit. The Mona Lisa is very watery, very watered down. If you resonate with any of these 3 art pieces, if they speak to your soul, if they speak to the toilet bowl, this means you have diarrhea. What diarrhea means is that the food is passing through your digestive tract way too fast. The colon isn't able to absorb and extract the water from what's passing through. So you likely are not assimilating nutrients either. So this is a very concerning condition if it goes on for too long. The body will incite diarrhea when it senses that there is something toxic within the body that it needs to release quickly. So when the body has like a poison, for example, like food poisoning maybe, the body will induce diarrhea, if not vomiting, to get the food out as soon as possible. So if you have diarrhea, not only could it mean food poisoning, but if we rule out food poisoning, it also could mean you have insufficient bile. So make sure you have a good working liver. And if you have a good working liver and you can rule that out, then we want to move on to maybe a dairy intolerance if you've eaten too much dairy. Now let's address a few other appearances that you might see in the toilet bowl. If you have stool that is greasy and floating, for example, then this means you may have an issue digesting fats. If this is the case, then you could try taking a digestive enzyme specifically related to fat digestion. If you have mucus coming out when you have your stools, then this could indicate inflammation. And if you have inflammation in the digestive tract, what you'll want to immediately do is restrict all inflammatory foods so that you don't incite more inflammation in the body. So inflammatory foods are, of course, all the junk foods, the fried foods, the sugars, dairy. These are all inflammatory to the body and could be contributing to the mucus output. So let's talk about frequency. Ideal frequency for a bowel movement is indeed 1 to 3 times a day. Ideally, 3 times a day. Now the reason for this is because the ideal bowel transit time, which bowel transit time means the amount of time where you've had a meal and then how much time passes before you evacuate that meal. The ideal transit time is 12 to 18 hours. So for example, if you eat a meal at 6 p.m. last night for dinner, then the transit time of 12 to 18 hours would mean that that meal would evacuate somewhere between 6 a.m. and noon the next day. So you need to be on a constant cycle of if you eat a meal one day, you're evacuating it the next day. So today's meals should be expelled tomorrow. This ensures that no meal stays in the gut for longer than 12 to 18 hours. If the meal stays in the gut for too long, that's called constipation, and this can lead to a whole host of other issues with your body because we're having toxicity being held within the colon for too long, and the toxicity will seep through the bowel wall. The toxicity will create an environment for parasites and bacteria, and then of course parasites and bacteria are living organisms that need to excrete their own waste matter in you, which sounds horrible and disgusting, but we're already talking about poo, so let's just pile it on, the disgust. They're going to be giving off waste matter, and that waste matter is toxic to you. All of this stuff can create leaky gut, SIBO, it can create heart issues, it can create varicose veins, it can create appendicitis, hernias, all kinds of things that are, really scary and that we want to prevent. So what if you have very light or pale stools? Light stools indicate lack of bile flow, and so what you'll want to do is really check in to see if you have good liver function to make sure that your bile flow is optimal. Another indication in your poo could be dark, extra dark or red in your stool, and this is blood in the stool. It could be a bleeding digestive tract. So what about smell? It should not have a putrid smell. It should not smell bad. Your poo should smell just like nature. It should not smell bad. If it smells bad, that means you have likely a microbial imbalance. You could have a situation where you have bacterial overgrowth and their waste is in your body as well. You could have putrefaction where the food is putrefying, there's a lot of off-gassing. You could be not eating the right foods. You could be eating a lot of junk food and processed food, and that will cause foul odor. So yes, it's true, there should not be a foul smell in your poo at all. And finally, healthy stool passes easily. You should not have to strain in order to get a bowel movement out. This is also a sign of constipation, but it should really pass easily and it should come out easily and ideally break apart in the toilet. Thank you for coming to my art show. I have more information about constipation in this video here, and please subscribe to God's Food for more very distinguished art installations potentially, and more information on natural health that's easy to understand. You're a blessing. God's food.
The art show about poo. This is all for you.